Booth 18 with Daniel from Livestock Electronics.
Hey.
Hi Daniel,
Hey,
how you doing?
Yeah, I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing just great.
Yeah.
Can you show us what it is that you make here?
Sure. I will start with my latest module, which is Maze. It's a router and mixer for CV and audio. So basically it works like any other matrix mixer. You have 4 inputs, 4 outputs. But the nice thing about this is that you can create presets. So these are all presets that you see here. I can select one and go to a different mode. And this is basically where you create your routing. So these are the inputs, which correspond to these inputs. And these are the outputs. So what's different to just a regular switch is that you can set the gain and inversion. So this is, now it's attenuating. So when it's green, it's attenuating. And when it's red, it's inverting as well.
Wow.
So you can save that and go to a different preset and create something else. So now it's a different routing. As you can see, it's like, now it's red.
Wonderful.
Now it's green. But of course, it really becomes a lot of fun when you start to sequence this. So I'm just gonna put something in here. So now it's following an LFO, but you have different sequencing methods as well. So you can just do a regular sequencer like this, or maybe do like a random stuff.
Wow.
But there's a bit more, like you can do morphing. So now it's slowly fading between these routings that you've created. So
this is incredible. So the use case here would be something where you have a number of different CV inputs, like from sequencers, and then you would have them patched to like 4 different noisemakers.
Exactly.
And then you'd be able to blend back and forth between them.
Yeah, so it really depends on, well, your own creativity, I guess.
Of course.
Because people could use it really simple, just like, I just want to have something going from one input to another input and just basically hang around in this mode and have, well, fun with that. But other people may use it more for the sequencing part of it.
Sure.
There's just one more thing, you can also mute it. So,
oh, nice.
Well, obviously you don't always want to go back and like set settings to 0. Like muting is really essential in this, I think.
Wow, it looks like it's a wonderful thing, very optimized for performance.
Definitely, yeah.
More than the studio. What is this module run for? How much is it?
This one is 430 including tax. So it's in euros.
In 430 euros including tax.
Yeah.
Wonderful. That's very nice. What else do you have here?
So this is the Bang. It's an oscillator. It's really inspired by chiptune sounds.
I see.
The idea here is to create a new algorithm that instantly makes you feel like that you have a retro vibe going on.
The retro 8-bit sort of Commodore 64 vibe.
And so the algorithm basically is that you have a cycle of a wave, and you can divide the wave into parts. So this knob would determine the amount of parts, and then you can assign the parts to a specific wave. So let's say a sawtooth or a sound wave, and the module just chooses between those within the cycle. It's something you have to hear probably to understand.
Can you demo a little bit of it for us right now?
Yeah, well,
we won't be able to hear it that well here at Superbooth, of course.
So now you get like this broken,
very bit crushed kind of squelchy stuff. Yeah,
exactly. Well, this is just because of the library that I'm using right now. You have different libraries. And you can even create your own libraries.
Wonderful.
I created an application for your computer. And you can draw your own waves, use specific functions to create your own waves, and just plug it into the module and have fun with that.
That's the power of having digital units like this.
Exactly.
That's really nice.
So this one, I can maybe just use one, just so you can hear what it does. Let me see. So this is really the typical 8-bit stuff.
Sure.
So each library that is standard, each one is inspired by something else. So one is inspired by harmonics, the other one is just a standard waves, because you obviously need to have those.
Right.
And then there's one that is inspired by filters.
Oh, I love
so like
that
this,
sound.
it's like you've got some ripples going on.
Yeah.
Of course, pulse width modulation, but then in my version, I guess. And then different kinds of noises.
It sounds great. How many waveforms can you have inside the unit at once?
So there are 12 waves, but obviously you have like 30 different slices you can create.
I see.
So, well, I haven't calculated right now, but it's a lot of different sounds you can create, and then 6 libraries.
Wonderful. What can the CV control inside of this unit?
Okay, so these 3 knobs are of course CV controllable as well.
Yeah.
So these are the CV inputs for that.
Yeah.
Then there's an FM input, which corresponds to this knob, so you can attenuate it as well.
Cool.
And then there's volts per octave and fine tune.
Wow. What an interesting thing.
Thank you.
How much does this oscillator run?
This is 320 including tax.
320 euros.
Yeah, exactly.
Including tax.
Yeah.
Okay, what else do you have to show us here?
Okay, so this is mirror. Basically, the best way to view it as is a multifunctional tool times 4. So there are 4 channels. So as you can see here.
Yeah.
Maybe you can view it best here.
Oh, okay.
It's yeah.
Let me try to get in there so I can really see it. There we go. Okay,
yeah.
Perfect.
So, so with each channel you can attenuate it with the knob.
Yep.
You can mix 2 signals together, and you control that mix with a CV input as well. So
Nice.
it's a VCA.
Yep.
And then you can take an inverted output or just a normal output. So with this setup, also exponential and linear response, by the way.
Nice. That's great.
But with this setup, you can mix 2 signals, have the VCA for audio, for instance.
Yep.
Or this could also be utilized as a logic gate. So you have an OR gate like this,
Yep.
and an AND gate with these 2 inputs. But of course, nothing stopping you from using both at the same time.
Sure.
And then with different configurations, like you can make different patches, and it becomes really experimental. So it's not a typical quad VCA, but really something else, I guess.
What would be some examples? How would you use it within a modular system? What would be an example?
Well, for me, I mainly use it for cross patching. Maybe taking some LFOs, insert it, maybe adding some sequencing, so volts per octave as well.
Yep.
And then just see what happens. That's how I use it.
Fun.
Mostly, yeah.
I love the experimental aspect of modular, so I'm right there with you. That's great.
But it could also be very functional. So like a lot of times I'm just looking for something. I need a logic gate. Oh well, I can use mirror for that. I need a attenuator, just a simple attenuator. Or I need something that attenuates and inverts at the same time without using an attenuverter. Because when you attenuate, you can obviously close the knob entirely,
sure.
Which most of the time is not possible with an attenuverter.
Right.
So that's why there are 2 outputs. But sometimes, like if you have an envelope and you want to create a kick, you just insert the envelope in here, and then you can use the plus output or just like the regular output for your VCA, so to control the amplitude. And then the inverted output to your pitch, and then you already have enough for a kick.
Wow.
So something as basic as that, like something functional.
It sounds like it actually has quite a bit of experimental runway there. You can do a lot with it, which is a lot of fun. So tell me about the Felix module.
Yeah, so it's a buffer multiple with attenuators and or attenuverters. So let me just take out the jacks. So you have like 2 inputs and then 6 outputs. So if you insert something in the first input, then you have 6 outputs to take it out. Let's say you have an audio going in, and then you can just take 6 times the audio, and then control the gain with all the knobs. And maybe if you're using CV, you could set it to attenuate version, and then you could also invert it.
Wow.
So that is for each output.
So it gives you significantly more control than just a buffered multiple.
Yeah. So it's for me
like
it
a
was
mixer to me, like a 1 to 6 or a 2 to 3 mixer or something like that.
Yeah, but then the other way around, obviously. So
right.
Yeah. And then, well, for me, the idea behind it was like, okay, maybe I have like one envelope, but I want to use it on 6 parameters at the same time, just the same envelope, and still have some adjustments to do. But there are 2 inputs, so you could also use it like 2-channel 1, 2, 3s. The last thing is that it can also send out voltages corresponding to the knob positions. So it's also stable voltage distributor.
Really?
So together with the mirror, actually, this is a great combo because you could use the volts coming out from here, put it into here, and then maybe have a oscillator going in here. You could create like maybe a wave shaper, or like maybe use it to create DC offset. So these 2 for me are just well, a must-have in my system.
Well, it's really fascinating, and I forgot to ask you for the other one as well. What does the price for both of those 2 modules?
So this one is $230 including tax, and this one is $100 including tax.
That's $100 for a buffered multiple that has all of that power.
Yeah, exactly.
So, and once again, users, this is euros, so in dollars it'll be a little bit more.
Yeah,
not that much.
Well, you have to check out the exchange rate at this point.
Absolutely. So Livestock Electronics.
Yeah.
Daniel, where are you from?
The Netherlands.
You're from the Netherlands.
Yeah.
And how long have you been doing this for?
So my first module came out half a year ago.
I see.
Yeah.
Well, you've been very active.
I've been working on this stuff for I think about 2 years now. So
wow.
2 years ago I planned this. I thought like, okay, I'm gonna do this, and I just worked on it non-stop. So,
it's wonderful. Thank you so much for your time.
No problem. Thank you.
Have a wonderful show.
Yeah, you too.